It is unbelievable. He's done it in his home ballpark. John Wehner.
That's not the rock stuff. That's Rocky stuff.
That is unbelievable.
So that music means John Wehner joins us as he does every Wednesday at about 8:35. And we can talk about the Pirates' 9-0 loss last night. And in fact, we will. But, John, I'm obligated to ask you, do you think Paul Skenes is going to start in Pittsburgh this weekend?
You know, I keep going back and forth in my head which way to go with this. A couple starts ago, he only threw 75 pitches. He pitches for the first time on 4 days rest, and he only throws 65 pitches. And so then I start wondering, do they want to build him up to 85 or 90 before they bring him up? But all signs are that, he could be here this weekend. But, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Obviously, everybody wants him up here. He's pretty much dominated at AAA level. The only thing he hasn't done is really build up his pitch count. And, so when he does come, I think he'll be limited pitch count wise, but he's also probably going to dominate up here. And so, you might as well, get the ball rolling, get him up here. Maybe it adds some excitement. Maybe somehow with all, the hoopla around him coming up, maybe somehow it'll help the offense, because certainly, the needs right now for this team isn't pitching, it's offense. I
do want to get to that in a moment, John, but your partner in crime, Greg Brown, he threw out a theory yesterday with the PM team, and I think it's a good one, that they wanted to see how Skenes felt after going on 4 days rest. So you have him throw the bullpen. You see how he's feeling after that. Then this morning you see how he wakes up after that. And then if he's feeling good, then he pitches this weekend. Would that make sense?
Yeah, I obviously worked with Greg last night, and so, he threw that at me, and, I'm sure that would make sense as well. It is interesting because, as we've talked about before, I mean, he's pitched pretty much once a week in college, and he hasn't pitched a ton in pro ball and mostly on 5 days rest. So, coming out, seeing how he feels after pitching on 4 days rest makes sense. But in the same sense, this guy is a monster. I mean, he is a stinking human specimen. He could be playing tight end in the NFL. He's 6'6" or 6'7", 260. He's just an imposing figure that it works so hard, not just on the mental part of the game, but the physical part of the game. I know he keeps himself in great shape. His workout regimens are legendary from what I understand. They talk about how hard he works. I can't imagine, 65 pitches, him not feeling very good after that. I mean, this guy's wait till you see him in person if you haven't already. This guy's a giant, and again, he keeps himself in good shape, and, I'd be shocked if he doesn't feel good. And if that was the theory, then we'll see him this weekend.
John, if he does come up, who goes down, in your opinion? Quinn Priester, Bailey Falter? Which one of those guys is going to be sent down if Skenes does get the call up?
Well, Priester would be, I think, the easier one because he has options left, and he didn't pitch great last night after the third. Falter is out of options, and he's pitched pretty well, and he's also pitched out of the bullpen. I think they're also going to have to clear a roster spot. They're going to have to take somebody off the 40-man, I believe, unless there's somebody that can go on a 60-day DL. So they're going to have to make a couple decisions when they do decide to bring him. Again, I think the easier move would be, to move Falter to the bullpen, send Priester back down to work on some things. That would be my guess. I don't know. I mean, if they move Falter to the bullpen, they could also send. Well, I guess they got to, unless they go to a 6-man rotation, which I can't see happening. You do have two guys, young guys in Jones and Skenes, who I'm sure they're going to try to limit innings-wise so they're fresh and ready to go deep into the season. But a 6-man rotation would be a shock for me. But, if I had to guess, I'd say Priester. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, that's okay. I think your mind is exactly where all of our minds are on Skenes as we kind of try to do the math on all of that. John Wehner is our guest here, as he is every Wednesday on the Fan Morning Show at 8:35. You mentioned earlier, John, that maybe this could be a shot in the arm for the Pirates and something that could lift, for lack of a better way of saying it, their their collective spirits. Can that happen? Is that something that you've seen happen before?
There'll be a big buzz, obviously, when he does come up. There will be a big crowd, I assume, when he makes his debut. I'm sure there'll be a lot of national attention when he gets here, and hopefully that electricity will somehow inject an energy into this offense that'll get it going. I mean, it's certainly going to be a spectacle. I mean, I was there when Strasburg made his debut, and it was crazy. And I assume it'll be crazy when Skenes comes, because he's the best prospect arguably since Strasburg, and that's all everybody's talked about for 2 months. And even going back to the draft last year, I mean, everybody is looking forward to him coming. Obviously, can that somehow inject life into the offense? I don't know, but that to me is the biggest concern right now. This offense needs to start swinging the bats and scoring runs.
John, the reason why a lot of us love sports, and especially professional sports, is not everybody gets the opportunity to actually do it. And you like to put yourself in the athlete's shoes at times and kind of dream like, man, I wish I could catch a touchdown, or I wish I could hit a home run. I wish I could score a goal. What does it really honestly feel like to stand at the plate and to face a pitcher throwing 100 miles per hour?
It's great. There's nothing like the adrenaline. For me, in the batter's box, whether a guy's throwing 100 or just being in a major league game, for me, I think the intensity that you feel in a batter's box, it might be different for a guy that plays every day and, has 10 years in and gets 600 bats a year. I mean, for me, I had to think like 800 career bats. So every at bat was so intense to where you get into a tunnel vision. You don't hear anything. You just are concentrating on every pitch the pitcher's thrown. Now, I've faced guys that threw 100 that had good control and not with the hook. I faced Rob Dibble. That's a different 100 than facing a Randy Johnson or a Rob Nen or Billy Wagner that had better control. Rob Dibble, I was a little nervous because he didn't know where it was going. I think 3 of the 4 pitches went to the backstop. I walked on 4 pitches. Other guys, I mean, you're just trying to, you're just locked in and you're trying to shorten up your swing to be able to get the bat to the ball. That's all you're thinking about. You're looking for a pitch in an area and you're trying to be short to the ball, but it is a great feeling. It's funny you bring that up, Dorian, because I've always felt, I only played 1 year of football in high school, and I've never had adrenaline like that. I don't know. There was rage, and I mean, just stretching, I felt more limber. Jumping jacks, I felt I jumped higher. I've never, ever felt adrenaline like I had in football. Baseball, in that moment is different. It's not adrenaline. It's a focus that, I don't think I've ever had in any other situation. It's not adrenaline. It's just a tunnel vision that you feel every time up there.
You say you're looking for a spot. You're shortening up on the bat when a guy throws that hard. When you're talking like 102 from a guy like Skenes, or even Jared Jones with what he's bringing regularly, getting up to 100. Are you having to guess?
No, you got to sit fastball and hope to see the off-speed pitch. And it's funny because Jones, who doesn't throw as hard as Skenes, I think his fastball is better than Skenes just by hitters' reactions. His life through the zone, the ball that his ball carries, it looks like it elevates. It's coming through the hitting zone. Hitters have a hard time with his fastball, and with him, I think it's a different kind of fastball to where you have to be thinking about getting on top of that pitch because everybody's swinging under it. And Skenes, I think you might be able to see it better. But with Skenes, he has 4 other offerings that he can locate. He could throw it for strikes. He can throw it in certain areas to where, if you're just charging fastball, there's a good chance you're going to be chasing a lot more. And so, Jones, they're both going to be special. We got 2 guys here that, are going to be very hard to hit. And looks like if he does come this weekend, it looks like they'll probably pitch back to back. And I can't wait to see that. I think that will be something else, and it's going to be hard. Hitting. We've struggled offensively against guys with average stuff, with guys with 5 and 6 and 7 ERAs. Hitting is hard, and now when you go to face guys that are both in the triple digits, that could both locate and they could both throw secondary pitches wherever they want them. they're going to be hard to hit, and it's going to be hard to beat those two, no matter who we're playing. So, I think only the elite are going to be able to have any kind of consistent success against them.
I can just hear the excitement in your voice. Last thing for you. I mean, are you going to be bummed out if on Saturday afternoon that it's not Skenes on the mound, if it is in fact not Skenes?
It's going to come sooner. I won't be bummed out. Because it's going to be sooner than later. I'm more worried about scoring runs. I don't want them to come up here and throw 7 scoreless and lose one, and we lose 1-0 or something, or we're tied going to the 8th. I know it's all we want to talk about is Skenes, but this team got to score some runs and win some games. They're wasting pretty good pitching performances for the last 3 weeks. So I won't be bummed out because I know it's going to be here. He's going to be here sooner or later. I guess I'm patient enough to where I don't see as much urgency as a lot of guys do because our pitching's been pretty good.
Rock, appreciate the time, man. We'll talk to you next week. Hopefully we'll discuss a Skenes Pirates start.
Yes, sir. And hopefully like a 4-game winning streak or something like that, too. Always a pleasure, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too, man. Thank you. That was a really good question by you about, how do you feel standing in there against 100 miles an hour?
I think about it all the time. I'm like, could I even stand? Because, just like you said with Jared Jones, like with movement and speed, I wouldn't know if it was, going to my head, and I probably wouldn't be able to stand in the box.
There was a batting cage that I used to go to when I was the 6th best player on my 6th grade baseball team, Durham, and you could get, it was automated, so you get 60 miles an hour, like 75, and then it was like between 85 and 90. And when that thing would come out, you're having to start your whole process so much earlier. Like that's what's incredible is that, okay, not only does he have 103 in the tank if he wants it, but if you gear up for that and he drops in a 93, 94 mile an hour slider, which in and of itself is amazing, you're going to be so far out ahead of 93, you're going to look like a jackass.
Mm-hmm.
Not for nothing, Wehner said all signs are he could be up this weekend. I'm buying it more now than I bought it at any time before. We're going to see Skenes this weekend.